So I have sewn my dart, and now what I want to do is I want to put together the front and the back of the bodice. We call it a set-in sleeve because we set the sleeve inside of an already constructed armhole, as opposed to in some menswear you can actually sew in the sleeve first and then sew it all together. So this is set into an existing armhole, so we need to make that armhole by sewing our pieces together. One thing that you'll notice that I want to point out is on here, on your pattern, you'll see teeny little notches on the back. You'll have 2 notches close together, and on the front you'll have a single notch. Make sure you mark all of those really well. That's how we know which way the sleeve goes. Because the sleeve will actually rotate a little bit, because you can tell the way that God made us, how our arms go forward so we can do things and be productive, and it doesn't really work that way. So our armhole is actually going to be different on the front than on the back, because our arm is very different on the front than the back. So it's important to make sure you have all those notches marked, because it's going to happen a little bit differently on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch up the shoulder seam here now that I have put that dart in it. And then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and stitch the side seam. What you'll notice, and is completely normal because of what we just talked about, is that it's going to look like this, right? So nothing is going to match up when you have the shoulder seam together. Remember, just like on your little bodice, that's perfectly normal. We actually want that to happen because, again, the arm is very different on the front than the back, so it should not match up along the side. We'll just have to bring this part over to match up the side seam.
Is that 1/2 inch?
It's a 1/2 inch, yes, that's correct. Thank you. So there we have it. So you see there's some excess in there, and that's exactly right. We want that to happen. And I'm just going to go ahead and stitch each of these up at that 1/2 inch with my standard stitch length and my back stitch.
Fashion fabrics are together.
Yes, thank you. Fashion fabrics side together if you have a print on your fabric. I want them together. And I do want you to actually put the fashion fabric sides together this time.
Wait, so what are you sewing together now? So
Huh?
the shoulder?
I'm sewing the shoulder and the side seam. So this is actually a very very cut off shirt, right? Because we're just actually seeing a portion of it. We're only seeing the shoulder seam and then a little bit of the side seam, and everything else is cut away. So it's just a little bit. This is almost a full-size garment. It's definitely not full-size enough for me, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and press these seams flat, and then we're going to press them open. So we're going to press both sides open like this. All right? Be right back.